This 23,000-pound, 400-square-foot structure dangling 100 feet in the air is... It's a bird, it's a plane. It's an ADU. Is that too cheesy? And today it's being installed right over here in this Menlo Park backyard. It's one of over 90,000 ADUs in California that received a permit over the last decade, a number that's increased by more than 15,000% between 2016 and 2022. Regardless of where you live, you're probably already familiar with the concept of the ADU. But just so we're all on the same page, an ADU is essentially a secondary housing unit that can either be attached or detached to the main house. And its popularity in recent years has been through the roof. Bloomberg Cities estimated there were 1.4 million legal ADUs in the US in 2020. Because we're building roughly 100,000 every year, that means there could be as many as 1.8 million units in 2024, and it's likely there are more. As a native Californian, I see ADUs everywhere now. But is this even legal? And why are we suddenly obsessed with putting smaller homes next to our actual homes? The answer to those questions dates back centuries. And for me, it gets personal. And if you're thinking about putting one in your backyard,
it fundamentally changes the financial picture of these homeowners.
So that was crazy. I am standing in front of the brand new ADU. We're gonna go inside and tour it in just a second. But if you're wondering how I even got here, okay. Woo. We are now in my backyard, and the sprinklers actually just came on, so let's go inside. So I've been researching ADUs, and I'm realizing that ADUs enjoyed their first popularity spike during the Great Depression and the housing crisis of 1929, when housing values plummeted nationwide by about 35%, and thousands of Americans lost their homes. In fact, hold on one second. Where is that album? As a little boy who grew up during the Depression, my grandfather actually lived in a converted chicken coop in his grandparents' backyard just outside of Chicago. And I'm pretty sure this is it. My grandpa is that stud in the front, and that's his dad, my great-grandfather, and that, I believe, is the chicken coop in the back. And yes, it was technically an ADU. Like this one, except probably smaller and not as clean because chickens. See, before World War II, multi-generational family living was extremely popular. By converting or adding new residential spaces onto their properties, families could live together separately. This is where the term in-law suites comes from. Following the war, when the 1950s saw a boom in population, it also saw a boom in single-family houses thanks to the rise of the American suburbs. And with this new residential model came new zoning laws that suddenly made the ADU harder than ever to build. Minimum lot sizes got bigger to discourage smaller houses, and off-street parking requirements limited additional living spaces. Some cities, like Chicago, afraid of overcrowding, went as far as banning ADUs altogether. When I think about the 1950s and I think ADUs, my brain goes to Fonzie's attic apartment in the sitcom Happy Days.
Hey, Fonz, you all unpacked?
Yeah, almost. I traveled late.
The fate of the ADU in a post-war America looked grim at best. But as American history would have it, another economic crisis was just around the corner. During the housing collapse of the 1970s, average home prices increased by $50,000, the equivalent of roughly $293,000 today. And because most Americans couldn't afford to buy a new home, the ADU was back. It was affordable, it was quick to build, and it gave homeowners the opportunity to earn a passive income by renting the unit. But wait, speaking of passive income, our Side Hustle Ideas database has 100 unique side hustle ideas. Whether you're looking to supplement your income, pursue your passion, or simply explore new business opportunities, our curated list has something for everyone. Check out the link in the description. Now, let's go check in on our Menlo Park ADU. Let me take you on a little tour. Come with me. Watch your step. Nothing, as you can see, has been unwrapped quite yet, but this is a full-size refrigerator, a 4-burner stove here, an oven, lots of cabinetry. So this is one of the bedrooms. The utilities haven't been hooked up yet, so we don't have light in here quite yet, but I could totally see like a bed in this corner. And then here is the ensuite bath. Really nice and spacious too. Now we are in the second bathroom. Well, this is probably like the guest bathroom, you know? And the final space, the second bedroom. And that's that. Pretty cool, right? Today, the number of backyard ADUs we're constructing and installing is unprecedented, especially in cities like Los Angeles, where in 2023, 1 in 3 homes that received a permit was an ADU. Since 2016, the number of ADU permits in California has increased by more than 15,000%. And while that percentage increase may sound shocking, it's actually not. Because in 2016, ADU regulations drastically changed in the state of California to help address the unparalleled housing crisis that affects residents like yours truly. But if you zoom out and look at the national housing crisis as a whole, you'll see that the number of single-family housing units completed in recent years is nowhere near where it was in the early 2000s, or where it needs to be to address our shortage that's currently between 4 million and 7 million homes. And just like the economic crises that preceded it, the Great Recession of 2008 is largely to blame. But equally, and possibly even more responsible, are those single-family zoning laws that were enacted post-World War II. The same laws that killed the ADU. See, when the dream of owning a home was still alive and well, so cute, the government decided to protect that dream with legislation that delegated control to local homeowners and governments over how land in their neighborhoods was used. Over time, critics say zoning laws ended up being exclusionary and shut the door to many Americans on home ownership. Today, state and local governments are walking back some of those restrictions to create more affordable housing options in some of America's most expensive cities. Take Seattle, for example. It built more ADUs in 2022 than single-family homes. And in some cases, residents can list their ADUs on the market as condominiums for upwards of $730,000. So this might be a good time to legally capitalize on the ADU trend. Let the chickens keep their coop. And thanks to looser zoning restrictions, ADU companies can operate as one-stop shops for design, construction, and installation, like Abodu, the company behind this ADU.
The average timeline that most of our projects take is about 9 months from start to finish. All the construction you see around us here was done on a factory floor while we were securing the permit. Once that permit is issued, we're able to break ground the next day. Time on site is about 2 weeks in the backyard. Delivery, as you saw today, happens about 3 hours. And then the unit's ready to go for final inspection. So it takes about another 10 business days to get the unit connected to the foundation, connected to utilities, call for final inspection and being done. Many of our customers leverage renting their Abodu in their backyard to cover their main home's mortgage. With the condoization laws that are taking effect, people are able to take that one step further and not just cover their monthly mortgage payments with rent out in the backyard, but actually sell off the Abodu as a condo, or using some laws in California called SB9 to subdivide their parcel and sell the Abodu and the parcel underneath it to actually take all the proceeds from that sale to fully eliminate their entire mortgage. So not monthly payments, just eliminate the mortgage and all of it. There's so many different toolkits that can help alleviate housing costs. ADUs are one of them. It's definitely not the silver bullet, but it helps chip away every single year as tens of thousands of ADUs get built across California. That's tens of thousands of new units that can either be rented by the homeowner, rented by someone else coming in, and just pushing down the price of housing just a little bit.
Wherever you're at in your ADU journey, whether this is the first time you've been introduced to one, or you have a unit like this just chilling in your backyard, if you have the means to build it, you might consider renting it out as a small step in helping alleviate the national housing crisis. Plus, you'll be the talk of the street when your neighbors see this. Okay, so I know we just got into a whole lot on building houses, but there's a group of billionaires trying to build entirely new cities, including one that's not far from this newly installed ADU. Check out our video on the California Forever project to learn the real reason why its investors purchased thousands of acres of farmland here. And don't forget to check out our Side Hustles database and subscribe to the Hustle newsletter to stay up to date on all the latest in business and tech.